Sylvia Saber with OPtv Global Headlines. Starting with the top international stories for the day. Top diplomats from Israel and the United Arab Emirates are set to hold three-way talks in Washington. US President Joe Biden's administration embraces the move and looks to expand a normalization drive. The White House has formally rejected the request by former President Donald Trump to assert executive privilege to protect specific documents from being given to January 6 investigators. The latest response from the White House counsel is more of a technicality in response to the request. A wildfire raging through Southern California coastal mountains is threatening ranches and rural homes and keeping a major highway shut down. Hundreds of firefighters are battling a Lisel fire, which has burned more than 54 square kilometers in the Santa Ynez Mountains. The United States will reopen its land borders with Mexico and Canada to fully vaccinated travelers from November. However, air travel is allowed to unvaccinated travelers with a negative COVID test. The capital city of Officail in Canada's far north and Nunavut territory declared a state of emergency due to possible petroleum contamination of the city's water supply. The government of Nunavut will fly in 80,000 liters of water over 3 days in an effort to defuse the crisis. Israeli government has approved plans to expand Israeli settlements that will disconnect the geographical continuity between East Jerusalem and Bethlehem. Jerusalem municipality approved the construction of public buildings and roads in the Givat Hamatos settlement. At least 250 Palestinian prisoners held by Israel have begun a hunger strike to protest their relocation to isolated cells. The latest strike is to protest the separation of Islamic Jihad prisoners into designated cells. A man armed with a bow and arrow has killed 5 people and wounded others near the Norwegian capital of Oslo. People have arrested the suspect but said it is too early to speculate on the man's motive. Up next, we have the national updates. Iran's Chief of General Staff of Armed Forces Major General Mohammad Bagheri called on Chairman Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee General Nadeem Raza. Both sides discussed ways to increase cooperation in defense, security and counter-terrorism. Prime Minister Imran Khan has described the Pakistan-Iran border as a border of peace and friendship. During the meeting with Iran's Chief of General Staff of Armed Forces, the Prime Minister also noted agreement on the establishment of border sustenance markets. Federal Minister for Information Fawad Chaudhry has announced consultation between Prime Minister Imran Khan and Chief of Army Staff General Qamar Javed Bajwa regarding the appointment of Director General of the Inter-Services Intelligence had been completed. He further said the civil and military leadership has yet again proved that all institutions are united for the country's stability. Governor Sindh Dr. Imran Ismail urged the provincial government to immediately release good stock of wheat to flour. The move will bring down high prices of flour in the province. The price of wheat bag in Punjab is Rs 1100, while in Sindh it is 1400 rupees. Federal Finance Minister Shaukat Tareen said that the government has no plans to hike the power tariff immediately. He also added that Pak-China cordial ties could not have an impact on the Pak-US relations. A National Accountability Bureau team raided the residence of Sindh Speaker Agha Siraj Durrani to arrest him in Assets Beyond Means case. The team has returned empty-handed after 15 hours as they were not allowed to enter the residence by the security guard, saying that Siraj Durrani was not at his home. Prime Minister Imran Khan has directed that a preservation zone to be set up in the Margala Hills to ensure natural habitat for the endangered species. The Prime Minister also approved establishment of the Wildlife Information Center in Murgazar Zoo. Human Rights Minister Dr. Shireen Mazari inaugurated the first Transgender Protection Center of the country in Islamabad. The PTI government has included the transgender community in the Ehsas program and health card initiatives with the aim to provide them opportunities for development. On the auspicious occasion of the Eid Miladun-Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Pakistan International Airlines has slashed its fares by 12% on all domestic routes. The discount offer will be valid from October 14 till October 19. Up next, we have the health updates. A Himalayan fungus has been revealed as a potent anti-cancer agent. University of Oxford's new kind of chemotherapy is still in the experimental stages, but newly reported clinical trial results bode well for the drug candidate. Researchers of the Netherlands are developing laser technology to enable virtually painless injections without needles. The bubble gun uses a laser to push tiny droplets through the outer layer of the skin. Up next, we have the updates on science and technology. The mountain electronic and electrical equipment waste discarded in 2021 will weigh more than 57 million tons. According to the UN's Sustainable Cycle Program, this is heavier than the Great Wall of China and the planet's heaviest artificial object. Up next, we have the sports updates. Indian captain Virat Kohli won the ICC's Greatest Moments campaign. The Indian skipper won 68% of the total votes. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa successfully defended the national T20 title. KP team fashioned a 7-wicket win over Central Punjab in the final. Iftikhar Ahmed received the titles of Player of the Final and Player of the Tournament. Up next, we have the entertainment updates. India's Narcotics Control Bureau has opposed the bail plea of Bollywood superstar Shah Rukh Khan's son Aryan Khan. The NCB claimed that he is part of an international drug network. Hollywood's 90-year-old star William Shatner blasted into space, becoming the oldest person to do so. The actor and 3 fellow passengers soared to an estimated 66 miles over the West Texas desert in the fully automated capsule. The trailer of the upcoming horror movie Scream 5 has been revealed by Paramount Pictures and it is chilling. The first look of Scream already has 5.6 million views on YouTube alone. Up next, we have the business updates. One of the biggest US ports will start operating 24 hours a day to clear long queues of cargo ships. The Port of Los Angeles, which handles 40% of all cargo containers entering the US, will handle more goods at night. The International Monetary forecasts Pakistan's major fiscal indicators gradually improving this year. The IMF estimated the government's overall fiscal deficit at 6.2% of GDP, primary deficit at 0.4% of GDP, and debt levels at about 81% of GDP during the current fiscal year. The Pakistani rupee weakened by another 9 pesos against the US dollar in the interbank market. Local currency closes at rupees 171.13 in the interbank market. The United States has overtaken China to account for the largest share of the world's Bitcoin mining. The United States accounts for the largest share of mining, some 35.4% of the global hash rate as end of August.